On this next lesson, we're going to work on our lock icon. So first thing, just as before, we're going to click here on the eyeball to hide this layer visibility. And now we're going to create a new layer again by clicking here, and we're going to name this one lock. And we're going to make a lock. So to create a lock, we're going to go here to our tools panel, and we're going to create a rectangle that is around like this size. I think that's okay. And I'm going to invert this because I need a fill, not a stroke. And I'm going to change the color to this to something probably like this, or maybe not like this. I think this is okay. And now I'm going to go to my direct selection tool, or press A on my keyboard, and move all the anchor points and round my rectangle to something like this. And I'm going to create a circle, so I'm going to go to my ellipse tool, or press L on my keyboard, and again, while I create the ellipse, I'm going to press shift, so I drag and I make a circle around this size. And I'm going to select both of them, click again on one to also, or sorry, on the rectangle to make it the key object, and now you're going to go here to your align options and make horizontal and vertical align center. And I'm going to change the color to this to something darker so we can see it. And this is kind of the shape for my lock. And now I'm going to create another circle. So I'm going to go to my ellipse tool, or press L on my keyboard, and let's make a circle that is around this size. Probably that's too big. So something like that. And I'm going to have something, change the color, sorry, to this dark gray. And I'm going to create a little rectangle. So I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, or press M on my keyboard, and make a rectangle that is around this size. Now I'm going to select both these shapes, click again on this circle to make it the key object, and then let's just horizontal line, and I'm going to move it a little bit to the top, probably not that much, something like this. I'm going to select both the shapes and go to my Pathfinder options and go to my shape modes and select again Unite, the first option. Now that you have this, I'm going to select both of these, click again on the big circle to make it a key object, and again horizontal and vertical align center. Now the next thing I want to create for this lock is actually the top part of the lock. So I'm going to go to my ellipse tool, or press L on my keyboard, and let's make a circle around this size. And I'm gonna invert this because for this I need the stroke and not the fill. And now I'm going to change the weight to something like probably 20, maybe 20 is too little. So maybe let's give it a try to probably 30. And I think this is working better. And I'm gonna send it to back by right click, arrange, send to back, or you could use the shortcut Shift Control open bracket. And I think this is kind of okay. But you could also scale it if you don't think it's working that well. And again, you could align this by clicking on this on both shapes, then clicking on the rectangle and go here to horizontal align center. And I'm gonna change the width because I really don't think this is working. So maybe something like 28 probably. Yeah, I think this is better. And I'm gonna change the color to I think this is okay, something like this. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some shadows to this lock. So to do that, we're gonna create a select here on our rectangle, and while I drag it, I'm gonna press Alt to make a copy to something around here. And I'm gonna go to again to my scissors tool, or press C on my keyboard and click on this anchor point, and then click on this other anchor point. And I'm going to delete this part, make sure that the shape is right here, and I'm going to press P on my keyboard, or click here on my pen tool and go here to this anchor point. And again, I want to close this shape, but I have to make sure that I cover the original rectangle. And I can go here to my transparency and again play with my modes here. So I can go to multiply, but this is actually going to be a highlight. So I can go and try overlay, and you can see how that is working better. So I think I'm going to work with that. And now something that I also want to do is actually give it some shadow here to this circle. So while I select it, I'm going to press Alt to make a copy that is around here. And again, I'm gonna go to my scissors tool or press C on my keyboard and go and delete, select on those anchor points, go to my pen tool or press P to close the shape around here. And for this one, I'm going to select the mode multiply, and maybe go with 40. I think 40 is too little, so maybe something like 80. I think that works better, and you could move it around a little bit so it's not that there in your face. So the next thing I want to do is create some depth for this part of the lock. So what I'm going to do is, again, while moving it, I'm going to press Alt just a little bit, so I create a copy, and I'm going to actually change the color to this one to something darker, so something like that, black. And I'm going to select this one and cut it by pressing Ctrl X on my keyboard, and then select this shape again, go to Draw Inside mode, and then Ctrl Shift B to draw, to paste in place the shape that I just cut. And now I can go again to Draw Normal, so I can go back to here. And remember that if you don't like how this is looking, you could double click on this and you could see how now you are inside this clip group, and you can still move around your shapes in case something is not in case something you don't like, you could still move them around a little bit. So I think maybe that one is better. And now finally I also want to create another shadow here, so I'm going to go to my pen tool or press P on my keyboard, make a point here, then make another point around here and just close it to make a rectangle. And now I'm going to go to my probably multiply, but I think this one is too big, sorry, too strong. So I'm going to change this one to this darker color, and maybe something like this. And you could change again the opacity to something like 60. And I think that's better. Now I'm going to select this shadow that I create for the circle, and I'm going to mask it by going Ctrl X and copy. Then I'm going to go here to this circle, draw inside, and paste in place by pressing Ctrl Shift B. Now that I have this, I'm going to select this one, this circle, this one, this circle, and this other shadow. And I'm going to cut them by pressing Ctrl X. And then I'm going to go to this rectangle, select it, go draw inside, and then Ctrl Shift B to paste in place. Now you can see how all is getting masked just right there. Now the next thing I want to do is create a key for this lock. So I'm going to create a new layer actually, because I don't want the key to be on the same layer of the lock. And I'm going to call this one key. And now to create a key, all I have to do is go here to my circle, or sorry, my ellipse tool, and I'm going to create a circle by pressing Shift. So something like this probably, and then I'm going to go to the center, where I'm going to actually create a smaller circle, so probably something like this. And I'm going to select both of them, click again to make it the key object, and again horizontal and vertical line center. And I think this is too big, so I'm going to scale it by pressing Shift and Alt, so I can scale it from the center. And now that I have something like that, I'm going to select both these shapes and go to my Pathfinder and go -1, so I get something like this. I think something like this would work fine. Now I'm going to go to my rectangle tool or press M on my keyboard, and let's make a rectangle like this. So probably I think this is too long, so you could always edit it. And I'm going to select both the shapes, click again on the circle to make it the key object, and now I'm simply going to vertical line this rectangle. And then I want to create two little rectangles. I'm going to press Ctrl+ to get closer. And you could see how when I want to zoom in, I press Ctrl+, and when I want to zoom out, Ctrl-. So I'm going to go here to my rectangle tool, press M on my keyboard, and then I'm going to make a rectangle probably like this. And then let's make another one by pressing Alt and Shift. I can create a copy, so something like that, and maybe a little bit less, something like that. So I'm going to select this one, and again with my direct selection tool, or I can press A on my keyboard. I'm going to select both of these anchor points and then simply round them a little bit. And then I can move these ones a little bit here, make them darker, probably something like that. You could bring this to the front by arrange, bring to front. And I'm seeing the lock, but you could remove the visibility as we did with the other ones. But the reason why I still see the lock, or why I want to see the lock, is because I want to see the proportion between these shapes. So maybe this one is, I could increase this one a bit, or I think maybe that's okay. And if you want to change like the width of these circles, you could again double click on this one, and you can go into the compound path and select the smaller circle, and again with Alt and Shift you could scale it a bit if you think, like for example in my case, it was not working that well. So I can go to this one, and then maybe this one's a little bit darker, and you can see them right here. And let's bring this one to the front by right click, arrange, bring to front, or Ctrl Shift close bracket. And I think something like this is working fine. And if you want to make it longer, you could go here to your direct selection tool, or press A on your keyboard and select everything that is from this point here. That way you are selecting all the anchor points except these two, and all you have to do is just simply move it, and while you press Shift you could change it like this. And also I think these ones are too wide, so I could go something like this. I think this one is looking better. So next thing I want to do is select these two shapes and go here to Object and go Compound Path, Make. That way these two rectangles are now a single path. And now I can go to my pen tool, or press P on my keyboard and make a line here, sorry, a point here, and then another one around here, and close it and change it to multiply, so you have some shadow there, and you can change this to 40 or something like that. Now let's just Ctrl X, go here to this compound path, and then draw inside, Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And I can do something similar with this part of the key. So something like this, again with my pen tool. You could make some, maybe it's something just like this, just a little shadow between these two objects. And again, you can change the color mode to multiply, and decrease the opacity to something like 50. And you can cut it, again go to the shape, go draw inside, Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And you could still, if you go to your direct selection tool, or press A on your keyboard, you could still select that one and change the opacity, because I think, for example, this one is too dark, so maybe something like that. And now finally, what I can do is double click on this one. You remember as before, as we go to the compound path, and what I want to do is actually copy these little circles. I'm going to press Ctrl C, and I'm going to go outside this compound path, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift B to paste in place. And now you can see how I paste that in place, the shape that I just copied. And let's make something like this, and again change the mode to multiply. I think that's okay. So I'm going to cut it by pressing Ctrl X, select the shape, go again to draw inside mode, and Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And I have something that looks more like a key. And if you don't like how this is, for example, I don't like how this is too rounded, you could select with your direct selection tool and move these little handles a little bit, so it's not that rounded. So something maybe like this, and you can move this around. So now we have our key and our lock. So on the next lesson, we're gonna work on our final icon here in Adobe Illustrator.